Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, yes. All the books are from I read. Now, later on, I liked good books. I read, I don't know if you are familiar with Russian good writers like Dostoevsky, Tolstoy. All those books I read because they were interesting to me. I know the peace and war from on Dostoevsky, The Idiot. I read a lot of books. I even read poetry. So during the war, when couldn't go, was still in Poland, they couldn't go to the library. We had one family, Polish family, they got a lot of history books. So I'm not really a fan of history, but I read all the history books I could get
Just
from
love
them.
to read.
Just love to read.
Yeah.
Love to read.
So you said at school,
See?
yeah, you got a lot of books.
Always books. Wherever you go, I look books upstairs, books downstairs, everywhere.
So at your school, were you the only Jewish kid, or were there others?
Probably
or?
must have been others, but I don't remember. I really don't. Don't forget, I'm 89, I'm going to be 90. Going to be 90 in December, if I live that long.
So exciting. Exciting.
It's exciting. I'm getting tired of it. And my son said, Mom, face it. You're getting older and don't complain.
So did you have any other hobbies or things you like to do in your spare time other than read?
Well, skating. Ice skating.
Oh, ice skating.
Yes, I like ice skating. And when it was ice, any place, I was running fast and then zoom, slide all the way. We had lots of snow in Poland, lots of snow, and they didn't have really containers to bring it away. So they pulled it up sideways. Some places you could have a mountain of snow, both ways. Yeah, it was a lot of snow. But I grew up with it. I didn't know the difference. It was 40 degrees below. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Didn't even wear special winter clothes because we're used to it. We grew up with something like people are used to the heat and they don't sweat.
Yeah.
What else?
Did you take ice skating lessons, or was
No.
that?
No,
It was just for fun.
for fun.
Would you go with friends or your
Oh
family?
yeah, with friends. We had quite a few cousins the same age, girls.
Oh.
And we were good friends. We were very good friends. We had cousins, boys, but we didn't like them because we had long hair, braids, and they used always to pull those braids. So I actually didn't like to go over there because they always had to pull our braids.
Why do you think they pulled your braids? To annoy you? Why would they pull your
Yeah,
braids?
yeah, just because they're boys and we are girls. Didn't have nothing else to do. Like I had my uncle, the aunt, they have 8 boys. One passed away. 7 of them. When you went in their house, I didn't like to go there
Yeah.
because they were rough.
Did you spend a lot of time with your extended family, or?
With the,
not?
yes, but not with the guys. We had cousin girls the same age. Oh, we have secret together. We were talking about when we get married if we're going to be Orthodox or not. My cousin, one of her, she had a platinum blonde hair. Platinum blonde. It's just like I got the picture of my son. He was also platinum blonde when he was born. And she said she will cut her hair off to wear a wig. I said, I don't think I will ever do it. Well, I never needed to do it because I didn't get married then. What else?
What was how did religion influence your daily life in your family? You said you were Orthodox, so was religion very important to you and your family?
Yes, religion was very important. My grandfather, like I say, he was a rabbi. My father came from not a religious family, but since he married into a religious family, he had to act like the religious. He had to put on that special hat, you know. I got some pictures later on if you are interested. I
That
can
would
show
be
you.
great. Thank you.
And the other uncles from my father's side that have not been religious. They've been sports people, playing football and all kind of sports, but not for my mother's side.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's side, no.
Do you want to talk a little more about your father? What was your father like?
Well, like I said, I don't know how they came to, like he came to marry my mother. I never asked.
Mm-hmm.
But he was not religious, but he wanted to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned into religious. He was observant and respect to my mother's family, grandfather. But girls have been more close with mothers than fathers. The only thing what I do remember, my family, my father used to bring always on Friday night some stranded business person or salesperson got stranded in the synagogue and couldn't go home from wherever he was. He was brought to our house, was fed. One of the children had to help take him back to the synagogue because we didn't have accommodations to put them to sleep here. But 3 girls in a garden, that was not enough. But we always had enough food. I don't mean that we made a lot, but whatever we had was always shared.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up with that when later on in my own life, when I got married, we never knew how they called us in that village. Later on I found out they called us the open house because anybody would need anything or whatever food or whatever, it was an open house. Just coming in. Well, you grow up at a certain way, and you act at a certain way later on.
Did you have a favorite food that your mom would cook or anything?
I didn't like food, period. When my mother cooked, I was out of the house.
You didn't like food?
I did not. And you know, in those days, I now come to think about it, how people still didn't know that children have their own brains early on.
Mm-hmm.
My mother wanted me so badly to eat something because I didn't like food, I didn't like to be in the kitchen, I didn't like it. She put the egg in an ice cream cone I will think it's an ice cream. Imagine that. Imagine that. They didn't think that children would.
Did you eat it?
I don't, probably not.
It doesn't sound very good.
Probably not. I was a very poor eater. And all my children, when they were little, they were poor eaters. Now they wish they would be poor. But that's...
Do you want to talk a little more, like what would you do with your friends when you were just hanging out or like in free time?
Oh, that's a little too much to ask. I wouldn't remember. We probably talked a lot because as Jewish religious girls, you didn't go to the movies, you didn't go to theater. I remember the big impression I had when I went with school to see the first opera in Warsaw. Oh, I was so impressed with the building, with all that special event. And but that's only when the school had any outings in Warsaw. Could not go any place overnight,
Yeah.
just in that place. I was really patriotic Pole. I don't know why, but I was. When the first bombs fall on Warsaw, I was awfully sorry that I saw the bomb was falling on one of the castles, one of all castles from Warsaw. I was really sorry to see it. And during the war, we went, as the girls, we went to look for buy bread. There were big lines to buy bread. And when the bombs started falling on the Germans started dropping bombs, a lot of people ran away. Instead, we moved forward, so we could get to the store by that bread to go home.
Okay, let's see. What
What
else
else?
about? So you said, did you really like the snow? Like, what was your favorite season in Poland?
I loved the snow because it was so fresh and you were open. You could run around. You could slide around. It was fun. We played and fought with snowballs, and like I said, with sliding here and there. I liked winter, and we didn't dress specially for winter. Long stuff. I remember having silk stockings on, small shoes. It wasn't cold because grew up with it. So we really were not cold. We grew up with it. The transportation in Warsaw was on the streetcars, electric streetcars. So where we lived it's not in heart of Warsaw, just in, like we would say, like less than 1,000 from Baltimore, a small, before the city, in a place. Grochów was the small place before the city.
What is it called?
Grochów.
How do you spell that?
Grochuw. That was the place.
And that's where your apartment was with your family?
Yes. And we had, between Grochów and Warsaw, the main city, was a river, and it was called Wisła. Wisla. That's it, Wisla. And we like to go there. We like to go over the bridge, go into the city. And you know what I used to do on fasting, Jewish fasting days? I used to take a good book, go in the park. It was called Paderewski's Park. Paderewski, I think, was a musician, a Polish musician, and the park was called after him. There were one place what I loved, all roses, from white to the darkest, and smelled good. I took a good book, sat on the bench or lay on that bench and read my book till the day was over.
Wow, that sounds wonderful.
What?
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I didn't go to the synagogue. You know, girls are not so restricted to go to synagogue. Boys supposed to go to synagogue, but girls, if they want to. So I want to read. I like to read. That was fun.
But would your brother go to synagogue?
My brother, the oldest, yes. And what my oldest sister did, or the youngest, I really don't remember. They probably had their own girlfriends, but they spent the time with. For me, a book was my best friend. Still is. Still is.
So you lived right outside of Warsaw. So were your neighbors really close, or was there space between your
No,
apartment?
that was pretty close because we didn't have our own condo, an apartment. And an apartment was 3 floors. So on each floor were 2 apartments.
Okay.
My mother was religious, like I said, and she had a wig. And she had a holder for the wig for the evening, and she put in the house. She was wearing a handkerchief or something over her head. My girlfriend, a Polish girl, came once in, and she saw that wig on that holder. She ran home and she said, "Mom, Mrs. Krieger has 2 heads." She didn't know what it is. Mrs. Krieger has 2 heads.
So which floor of the apartment did you live on? Did you have your own room, or?
You must be kidding. No, you know what that reminds me? One of my sons had a pen pal here in America. We lived then in Israel. And one nice day, the family from America came to visit his pen pal. And you know, here every child has his own room. And in Israel, we had 2 rooms and a tiny kitchen. They came in, where are the boys? Oh, they have been at the river. We had a small river there, and they spent most of the time there. Where's their room? Here. Where they sleep? Here. Where they eat? Here. And those guys didn't know what to do out of it. But, well, one bed we had was collapsible against the wall, and I had a curtain in front of it. So during the day, it didn't take away space. The other was like a chair with a button. You pushed it up at nighttime, and it stretches out as a bed. So during the day, it was just a seat that was hidden. And those kids, those American kids, they could not get over. Everything is right here.
Yeah.
So that was in Israel. So what was your apartment like when you were growing up? Was it the same with one bed or?
Oh, no, we have 2 rooms and a kitchen. On here you would call it 3rd floor. But over there, the parterre don't call the floor, just 1 and the 2nd.
Okay.
And we had, like I say, a bedroom and a dining room. I don't think we had an extra room or living room. And the bed was collapsible. The parents' bed was during the day a sofa. And during the night you pulled it out. And you know what, girls? We always had guests accommodating. And we never thought about to say no. Not enough space. They got the beds, we slept on the floor. And that was so natural. But not here. Here you have to have beds and everything. Over there, it was natural like that. It was good. You know, it was good. People think if they don't have this and that, oh, it's so poor and it's so missing. We didn't miss anything. We didn't know about those things at all. We didn't miss them. We had good lives, and our children love to be grown up there. They now very well off here, very well off. When we were supposed to come here, my husband wanted to come here because his brother was living here in Baltimore. I had such stomach cramps. I had to go to the doctor because I did not want to leave Israel. Did not. So the doctor told me, if you will make yourself sick, will that help the family? Think about it. You will get ulcers. So, and he insisted, and usually men persevere. And we came here. Well, our friends used to say, think about that. At least it's going to be easier for you to give him college education and give him good futures. What we actually did, they're doing pretty well. No complaints. No complaints. Everybody has a beautiful profession, what they like to do. So, that's it. We are here. My sister's in Israel. We used to see each other once a year. 1 year she used to come to see me, 1 year we went there. But now it's too hard for us to travel, for her and for us. Not at that age, you don't want to be 12 hours on the plane. It's much too much. So we talk on the phone, no choice.
Okay. Do you guys have any other questions you'd like to ask, or any-
Did you have a favorite holiday growing up?
Yeah. Favorite holiday? I suppose every holiday was good because we didn't go to school and be home. But I don't know if it was anyone what I'm particular remembering favorite over the other. I don't know.
What would typically happen in your family, like during a holiday? How would you guys?
During the holidays, everybody went to the synagogue. My parents went to the synagogue, and we as children, we had a good time outside the synagogue, running around. Now, holidays, very, very much observed. But my husband came from not religious family. And since we got married, I don't remember if I think I went once with the kids just to show them what the synagogue looks like. But never joined the synagogue, no. But our youngest, our daughter, she lives in New Jersey with her family, and she belongs to a synagogue. But now during the holidays we went there, but her children are not there because one finished school and she works at Boston. She lives in Boston and works there.
I'm from Boston.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Let me see where I have my pocketbook. I will show you where she works because it's so hard to explain. Very much with computers. And her son is still in architecture school in Penn State.
Okay.
My son, the younger one, he finished architecture. And now they're building all kinds of stuff. I remember he used to take me everywhere, wherever it was a project. Mom, you want to see where we're going to build? I said, sure. He took me to Inner Harbor before it was built because they had a project to what they think would be the best way to build it up. Well, he's still in his profession. And the oldest son, he is counselor. He consults about 10 or 11 hospitals, Washington, Baltimore, and some in the county somewhere, consulting on preserving, saving money, and all that stuff. And our daughter, she is event coordinator and always busy. This event, that event, constantly. She told me Saturday she has a big event again. And sometimes they have the events where the student used to come to Penn State, Penn University. She's working at Penn University. Mm-hmm. She had once an event in London because we're students they were studying there, and they made the event in London. She likes her job, but it's keeping her really busy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Keeping her really busy. So we don't have any complaints. Thank God. Tell you what, it wouldn't help. You make complaints, doesn't help.
Do you have any more questions, Audrey?
I think you answered them all.
Yeah, I told you all more than you expected, didn't
Oh,
I?
it was great. Thank you so much.